Today we're going to go through our Stripe vendor charges, and it's going to be quite a long function and maybe a little bit confusing, but don't worry, I'll try to explain to the best of my ability. So the first thing I want to do is I want to grab whatever's in the cart using our function that we already know, so I won't explain much more. Next thing I want to do is make a new array using array.new and assign that to variable array. This is to hold the IDs. After that, I will do a cart items.each to loop through the items in order to throw all the IDs into the array we created in line 50. So line 52 with the array double arrows ID or product ID to I literally just goes through the cart items, takes the or product ID and throws them into the array. And the reason why we want the or product ID is because if we look into carts, we don't want the ID. The ID does not refer to the org products table, but the org products ID does refer to the org products table. You see that the carts here with the org product ID 6 would refer to this this row with the ID 6. So that's why we want the org product ID. After that, I would write out products equals org product where with the parameters ID array. You can actually put in an array of IDs in order to do a batch find to grab all the items with the IDs that you have in your array in from the table. So doing or product where with ID array does a batch find all the products with the IDs in the array. The next thing I want to do is I want to do hash.new assigned to the variable h, and this makes a new array for holding IDs. After that, I would loop through our products loop through our products that we found in our products table and do products.each do product. Let's end that function here and return h. So our products would return array. Well, it doesn't really return an array, it returns a hash because h is a hash, but we'll worry about that later. Next thing we want to do is we need to find the COO to get his Stripe user ID. So we do a person or person.where, or company ID is product dot or company ID where type position is 1 and where is not Stripe user ID nil. So you might be wondering, what is this for? Why are we looking for this person and why are we using the product or company ID? Well, the idea behind this is that for each one of your grocers or your vendors, there will exist a COO or a head honcho, or you call it boss. And if it's a small company or a big company, there usually is someone called the COO, which handles operations. Now, there's only usually one person for each of these businesses. So that's our assumption. We're going to assume that grocer A and grocer B each have one COO. And this one COO would be in charge of all the banking information. So they would take the banking information of the business and connect it with our platform, Project Neo. So we would have access to their banking information through Stripe. And this will allow us to pay the act as the middleman, so we could collect the fees that are charged by customers when they buy items from our site, buy their items through our site. So we'll collect the fees for our grocers or collect the money for our grocers when a customer buys their items through our site. And the Stripe user ID is what we will use to identify their banking information so that we can pay out these guys at a weekly, a monthly occurrence, or whenever you want to, or whenever they want to. So that's why we look for the Stripe user ID. So we look for the person, that one person, our COO, by using product.org company ID, because every product, if we look in our table, every product has an org company ID and every company has a COO. And the COO has a type position ID of 1 if we look under type positions. And a COO will also have a Stripe user ID. So their user ID can never be nil. They are always the person that gives us Project Neo their banking information. So that's why we're looking for this person. So the next thing I want to do is a C cart items dot find item, and we're gonna do item dot or product double equals product ID. And what this does is it is to match the product to the cart item to get C. So what is happening here is we're looping through every product, and products is part of our org product array. But our org product array doesn't have certain essential information. If you look at our table, what our carts and our org products differ is that our carts has the quantity that we're going to buy, and our org products, for example, doesn't. It doesn't have the quantity that the user wants to buy. It has the available quantity that the company posts that they want to sell, but it doesn't have the quantity that our user wants to buy. So what we have to do is we have to loop through our products, and we have to find the item in the cart with the quantity. So that's why we have to do this carts item dot find. And what we're going to do next is if the person is not empty, that means if we have a COO, that's our check. And then we have an else, and then we're going to close it off with the end. If we actually have a person, then what we want to do is we want to calculate the subtotal. And it's actually a better idea to have this function not there, but we have evaluated when there's actually a person, when there's actually a COO. So after that, we want to calculate our fee. So we'll do a fee equals project meal underscore fee. And we'll talk about this at a later video, but not today, not here, to save some time. So this is to calculate the project meal fee. And the next thing we want to do is we want to calculate any taxes that they have to pay. So C dot tax amount, we're going to check if it's nil. If it's nil, then we're going to just put 0. Otherwise, we're going to do a subtotal times C tax amount divided by 100 to calculate any taxes. And that tax amount is found here. We saved it into our carts. Now we're going to do another if and another else, and we're going to close it off with an end. The condition for the if is we're going to do our hash and person 0, and what we're going to do is check their Stripe user ID, and we're going to do blank. And what this does is we're going to check if this Stripe user ID already exists in our hash. That means, so let's say if we're buying 5 items from grocer A, 3 items from grocer B, and 1 item from grocer C, if we're already looping through the second item of grocer A, then we have already added their Stripe user ID into into our hash. And so then we don't have to do that again. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do H person 0 Stripe user ID, and the idea here is we're collecting the total for this person, all the information that Stripe needs. So we're gonna do total, and this is going to be H person 0 Stripe user ID, because we want to assign the total to this person, and we're gonna going to have their total already, plus the subtotal, plus the fee, plus the tax of the item. So remember, um, maybe it's better to do the first item first to make this more logical. So we're gonna hold off there. I'm gonna go do our else. So let's say this is the first item that's being sold by the vendor. So let's just go with our our grocer C. This is the first item. We're buying only one item from grocer C. So this is the first item that's being sold by this vendor to us. So we're gonna add that vendor to the list. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do hperson0 stripe user ID. And then we're going to add some essential information that we need for this vendor. And that is going to be total is 0 plus subtotal plus fee plus tax dot round to F. So basically what we're doing is we're only buying one item. This is for grocer C, this is the only item. We haven't bought anything from them yet. So then our total for this at the time being is 0. But buying this one item, and this one item would have this cost. That would have their subtotal plus fee plus tax. That is the total for the first item that we're going to buy from grocer C. We're buying one item from grocer C, right? And this is the total of that one item. But we haven't bought anything from them yet, so then it's going to be 0 plus the total for that one item. So other than that, we also need the fee, and we're going to do fee round 2 to F. And we would also need their tax round 2 to F. And then we're also going to need their stripe ID, which is person0 stripe user ID. So now I hope that makes more sense. So for our grocer A and grocer B, which we are buying 5 and 3 items respectively, on the second item we would jump into the if statement because we have added this grocer to our hash. They already exist. We have a total for them. We're just going to take the total for this item and add it to all the previous items totals to get the grand total. And for the fee, it's pretty much the same deal. So we're going to do fee is equal to the existing fee plus the fee for this item. And we're going to do the same for taxes. And again, we're just going to repost their stripe ID for safety. So that's it for this big if statement here. If you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, if the person is empty, that means we weren't able to find a person, then that's too bad. We'll just do a cart destroy CID, saying that they can't buy this item, because if we don't have a COO, then we won't be able to distribute the money to them or anything, so there's really no point. So we're just going to destroy the item and send them a message saying that one or more of these items checked out have been removed because orders are not being taken for those items at the moment. So if there's no COO, or if there's no, well, even if there is a COO, if they don't have their Stripe user ID set up, that means that they don't have their banking information set up, and in that case, we're not going to allow them to sell on Project Meal. Other than that, I hope it made sense. It's long and confusing, I know, but I hope I made it as clear as possible. Please rate, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave questions and comments in the question box or send me an email or whatever, and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.